Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I want the truth!
Why don't you answer him?
Welcome to a holiday episode of Objection or Fiction. And to show the holiday cheer, Brad is actually here.
Hello.
Sitting next to me in the podcast booth. We are excited to talk about maybe like the contemporary holiday classic. I wouldn't put it up against It's a Wonderful Life or anything like that. But for kids of the 80s and 90s, I think this is one of the first movies you think of when you think Christmas. And
Millennial classic.
A millennial classic. So we're going to be talking about the movie Home Alone and all of the pain and suffering inflicted upon the children in Home Alone. And to help us with that task, we're excited to have with us William Booth. He's a trial attorney and the managing attorney for the Children's Law Center of New York, which provides children with a voice in family court, ensuring their rights are protected, their well-being is prioritized, which is not what happens in this movie whatsoever. But first off, William, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for asking me.
Of course. So we start all these episodes with a little bit of fun. And
Not fun for me.
It's fun.
I always forget when we do these together until 5 minutes before the episode. I always forget that you're going to put me on the spot and ask me to summarize it.
For those who haven't seen Home Alone, which I'm sure is not many people, Brad is going to he gets 1 minute on the clock to recap the entire film.
I'm just going to say one thing. I'm more a Home Alone 2 kid.
Okay, well,
I'm going to mess this up.
That's not the assignment today, though. It's Home Alone 1. I'm more of a Home Alone 3 guy myself.
No one's a Home Alone 3 guy.
So, Brad, 1 minute on the clock. Home Alone, what's it about? Start now.
What's it about? Kevin gets left home alone. I got 1 minute here, pal. This young, mischievous boy, Kevin, gets left home by his parents. I guess the power gets knocked out. The alarm clocks get all messed up. They leave for the airport. He's in the attic because he was misbehaving the night before. They leave him home and don't realize until they're on the plane that he's left there.
Yes.
I think I'm doing okay so far, right? So they wind up in Paris. I can't really remember. I guess everyone stays there, but then the mother tries to get home. The phone lines are still down. They're struggling to get in touch.
No cell phones.
No cell phones. Right. Landlines are down. He's home alone there, like having the time of his life, right? He goes grocery shopping. I think he like shaves.
Just aftershave. He doesn't.
Oh, it's just aftershave.
Doesn't need to actually
yeah.
shave.
I guess the mother ultimately makes it home, but like while she's on her way there, the wet bandits try to rob his house, but he booby traps the place and basically inflicts what should be mortal pain on them, and eventually like helps the cops catch them. I think that's right.
That was pretty good. That was one of your better ones.
Okay.
There was an SNL skit this weekend about Home Alone where so it starts at the end of the movie, and actually Ariana Grande is playing Kevin, which is very funny. And the mom comes home, and then the family comes home, and everybody's really happy, and then all the booby traps have not been unset. So like one family member after the next is killed by accident.
I should actually say, as I've gotten older, I found the movies harder and harder to watch because, like, I'm thinking of 2 now, but like, throwing bricks off a roof and like hitting the guy in the head, like that's pretty cringeworthy. Like I kind of have to look away now.
Yeah.
It was funny as a kid, I guess, but he'd be dead after the first one.
100%.
Right?
A lot of people will be dead in this movie in a real iteration of what happens. William, I know that you just refamiliarized yourself with this work of art.
with this great film.
Just a big picture, 30,000-foot view. Like when you watch it from someone in your position, like what's going through your head?
I'm disturbed, right? I mean, the whole premise of the whole show is that this child's left at home and it seems like it's okay, and that from the parent standpoint, even though they're trying to get back, but they're so nonchalant about it. From the police standpoint, from the neighbor who might be a serial killer, I don't know. I mean, no one seems to be fret over this young boy being alone. Not even the burglars.
Oh, with the boy, really?
Even the boy, you're right. He feels like it's on him and no one else.
So I guess let's start with the parents. from a family law perspective, what once this happens, and we have to take ourselves back to the 90s because we don't have the internet, we don't have cell phones. Like obviously, this movie probably couldn't even be made, not just like because it's not a PC film, but because like there's too many, there's no barrier to like connecting.
They'd
with
like
him anymore.
FaceTime the kid or something.
Right. Like
Right.
it's impossible to believe that you can't get in contact with somebody in this day and age. But I guess it was a little more conceivable in the 90s. So what were their obligations? What should they have done that they didn't do?
Well, what comes up for me first is that the daughter, like teenage daughter, I guess, I don't think she's an adult, is the one who's tasked with counting to make sure all the kids are there. Yeah. And 11 of them, including herself. That is like a problem. Why isn't the mother seems more like she cares, right? So she's ensuring that, have you counted 11? Yes, I've counted 11.
She's counting, she cares, but she's also mad at him from that.
Yeah, sure, from the night before. But the dad seems not to be present to any of it in some sense in his mind. So I think right there is really rotten on those parents.
Yeah. The first bad act is like basically right out of the gate.
Negligent act, no? Or higher. Worse. More culpable.
Maybe.
What do you think?
I think so. I mean, because
There were a lot of
kids. I get it, but that doesn't.
No, I'm actually saying maybe there were so many kids. Like, we got like 27 kids here. We should actually make sure they're all here. You could lose one.
And they did.
2 kids. Like, I'm not going to accidentally, I don't think, forget to put one of them in the car.
I know. Let's hope not. I mean, in today's age, God, if you did that, forget it. Can you imagine? It's just, what also bothers me, and you had said it, is that Kevin is sent upstairs to the attic the night before with no one else as punishment. And so that's out of the usual routine as well. You would think the mother, even though they're running around in the morning, would think, or the dad, the movie seems to pin the mother, that would think that, okay, I've got a child upstairs in the attic. Do I have him downstairs?
Yeah.
You know?
That would be your first thing that you would do, like go up to the attic and make sure that he also just like you're going in a family, just from like a normal human behavior, like maybe make up with the kid in the morning, like go up and prioritize like making sure that he's okay after ostracizing him over like something that was actually kind of questionable whether it was really even his fault to begin with or it was that bad to begin with. Like I felt like the reaction the night before was outsized in response. Like now that I have an 8-year-old, I'm like, this is just like everyday stuff.
Yeah, it seemed outsized. I would agree with you. I mean, obviously they're making a movie and they got to have a premise, but it just seemed a little outlandish.
Does anyone, here I am going to steer towards the legal, but I want to try to tie it in with like what you do. And do any of the other family members bear any responsibility? Like uncle, we know the uncle doesn't care. He's getting a free trip. If this type of situation were ever to like come up in court, I don't really know enough about this area of the law, but like, is there any world in which the uncle could be held, I don't want to say liable, but responsible, or could he be scrutinized in any way?
I possibly. Yeah. First, I want to say that, this law is state driven. So this podcast.
Chicago. This was in Illinois, right?
Yeah. But I'm just saying that the law that we're talking about is state driven. So it can vary somewhat or in state by state, although there is federal legislation that kind of directed how to do it, right?
What, like standard of care and caring for children, parental standard of care?
Well, a duty of care, right? And in New York, it's a minimum care. So it's possible if the uncle had some responsibility over Kevin, it's possible, but they're certainly going to go after mom and dad. I mean...
Oh, meaning like if you were left with the uncle, that's a different scenario.
No, like that morning, right? All the adults, you've got mom, dad, uncle, and I guess that's an aunt there. I guess. And you're asking though, right, whether that uncle could have some responsibility? Yeah, it's possible, right? If maybe the parents weren't there, then sure. Right. But in this circumstance, you've got the parents there. They certainly owe a duty to their son.
So it sounds like they arguably breached that duty out of the gate. What about like once they get on the plane? Is there like
that's a good one. They didn't recount. They didn't really. It was sort of like, okay, go find your seats.
She doesn't even go look and realize he's missing. She just kind of realizes in her head that he's not there.
Yeah, it'd be like buckling my kid in. You have your iPad.
Right. Shouldn't somebody be buckling him in?
No, he was left to go. They were all, go find your seats, I think is what they said.
And obviously this is before 9/11, before TSA, back in the 90s, late 80s when this was filmed.
Yeah.
I mean, you could walk through security so simply. Anyone could go through security. You just had to clear that gate. That was it. And so, and back then, I guess flights didn't have assigned seats. You just took what it.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I think so. I mean, that was a long time ago, but I think
Like a movie theater?
Like the informality surrounding the airport
Right.
would be hard to replicate today. I don't know how accurate that is about.
it's not today. For
Yeah.
The thing that bugged me is you've got passports for each of your kids. I'm guessing, isn't there when you check in? They still had to check in back in the day, and you had to probably give your passport.
TSA, you have to.
Yeah, you have to today, but I mean at the counter if you're checking, you didn't get boarding passes digital. You had to go get them. So
Especially, back then, you're not getting you have to get your boarding pass.
they're running through that concourse and, oh my God, are we going to make it? Pushing everyone aside. And they should have figured out when they checked in and they have 11 passports that they don't have 11 kids. And that's what's screaming to me. Then they get on a plane. You guys sit wherever you want. We'll sit in first class. We're not going to go on the back and find out if you guys are there.
Other kids could have been missing as well. It wasn't just Kevin. It could have been.
I don't know. By the way,
kids.
to this day, I don't really know who all those kids were. Like he had a brother, and then there's like 6 other kids. Like who are all those kids?
2 brothers, 2 sisters, and then the aunt and uncle had some kids.
Frank had kids, and then I guess there was like, I think the one in Paris might have.
They had so many that they were willing to lose 1 or 2 of them. That's what really is. That's what was going on here. I can't imagine like being on a plane with 8 kids, 8 to 10.
Well, that's why they were in first class. So promptly, wasn't the dad drinking? No, the uncle was drinking the champagne.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's like multiple breaches even before they get to Paris. Once they're there, mom kind of does what she needs to do to try to get home. There's like obviously movie place obstacles in her way.
Yeah.
Like what?
She's not going and like having oysters and caviar.
Right,
Like,
no,
while
she's-
she's in Paris, and
I
then
mean, she's getting on a van with John Candy.
Yeah.
Like that's probably not the most pleasant experience. But what was there from your perspective? Was there more that like mom should have done there? And certainly, what about that?
Mom finally kind of is starting to redeem herself in my eyes, right? She's like, she realizes on the plane they forgot their son. The dad sort of cares, I guess. He's not too concerned about it. And when she lands, she's not leaving the airport till she's on a plane. So she's making an effort to get back. She's stuck.
What about making like a scene on the plane to get the flight to turn around?
Wouldn't that go against, I don't know, today that would be a nightmare, a disaster.
But like
Maybe.
probably could have made enough of a scene to at least get there.
yeah, she kind of just accepted that they were going to go all the way to Paris. They might have like been over like Philadelphia or something.
But didn't someone say they've spoken to the pilot and they couldn't turn the plane around or something?
Did they do that?
think so.
You just watched the last
Yeah,
one.
I
watched it a
think.
couple
Yeah, I
days.
watched the last one.
That's an easy to miss detail
The nuance of Home Alone.
if you don't have family law, child law in mind.
Okay, so mom starts to redeem herself. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah. And dad, I never get that dad is too concerned. I think he is, but he's letting his wife deal with it. He wants to get into Paris, and I think he does. He doesn't hang around with her in the airport. And off to Paris he goes and lets her try to figure it out, and without a care in the world, because she's the one who's supposed to figure
I
it
think he makes one phone call.
out. Maybe.
Yeah, I think he makes one call.
Yes, you're right. He does try to make it.
He tries to call the neighbors, right? And that's how the bandits find out that
Wait, can I?
he's gone.
I want to steer this in a different direction for 1 minute, then we can come back to this. He's home alone the entire time. He goes to the store. He's clearly alone. He's like buying a toothbrush. I think he steals one maybe at one point. He's like, it's clear to numerous members of the public, I think probably including the neighbor. I don't remember the whole sequence that this, I don't know, what is he, like 6?
I think
How
he's
old do you
8,
think he's?
7 or 8.
Does anyone besides...
He has a robust vocabulary for whatever.
He's a
age
mature
he is.
8-year-old.
Right.
Again, state by state, but like I know like in this country, you're not old. I remember from law school, like the law doesn't impose like duties on you generally, like go way out of your way to like intervene in a situation, right? Like to be a good Samaritan. Is there any kind of like obligation? Like if you're a cashier at a store and you're like, this kid's alone and like I see him walking with bags like on a snowy street, are you supposed to do anything? Are you supposed to call the cops or like...
No, it's fine. I mean, we have no duty to step in. That's not our child. It's just a child out and about. We don't know. I mean, we have no duty. Maybe it'll rate today in this age where everything is an issue. Maybe we might reach out to somebody or say to the kid, you know, where's your parents or what's going on? And morally, yeah, we should do something. Legally, there's no duty for a cashier, for the Good Samaritan, so to speak, to step in at all. But you wonder, right? I mean, that neighbor, he has to wonder what's going on, right? And why didn't he do something? He's the only one I go, he should be doing something.
Yeah, it's like nighttime. He's like, okay,
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
good one.
Goodbye, see ya.
All right.
He's standing guard.
Yeah, for sure.
With his
He's
shovel.
ready to intervene at the very last second when
Yeah.
he's
He
about
does,
to get
for
shot.
sure. But and the police are interesting, right? So they,
Can I ask about that?
yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
so I was thinking about city liability because they're made aware of it, and you talked about like the minimums, like being the. I don't know if they do the minimum. they I think they drive up to the house and knock on the door and conclude that nobody's there, even though a parent has already said that the child is there alone, or purportedly the parent.
But you listen to how she said it. She said, I'm, whatever my name is, I'm in Paris and my son is home alone. And that's all she says. We never hear her explain anything, nothing. So we don't really know truly
And it's
how.
a game of telephone too, but I think she doesn't tell like the cops who go there, right? She tells somebody.
Well, she tells the police, who gives it to the special unit, who gives it back to the police in general. And then they say, we'll send someone out. That's again back in the day, and I don't know that they even understood well checks. Today, I think would be.
Is there municipal liability? Again, like I don't know, but I would guess there's a pretty high standard for like, you can't hold a municipal agency liable for like not intervening before things turn bad.
I'm not a government lawyer. That's not my specialty, but the way they portrayed it just seems like that police officer was inept. That's to police officers. I mean,
he had to be in order for the story.
I mean, why wouldn't you have followed through minimally? Something more than just, oh, I guess no one's home then. I mean, come on. If there's an 8-year-old, maybe he's afraid. He doesn't know who that person is. And he's already seen one guy in a uniform who ends up being the burglar, right? Yeah, it just doesn't seem like enough, but maybe back then it was enough. Today that's not enough. And possibly there's liability if something could happen to the kid, but.
And back to the parents, like, wouldn't you continually call the police?
Yes.
Forever?
Easy answer.
Until you just
bug the crap out of him.
Dad's in Paris. She's trying to get back. So she might not have the ability to do that. But dad should just be like calling, like, open the yellow pages and call every single place in the city until someone goes there. Right. Like, there's no reason not to do that.
Yeah, Dad is just so unconvincing that he cares. I don't know.
So it sounds like you kind of feel like he wants to be rid of Kevin.
No. No, he doesn't want to get rid of Kevin, but I think he feels like he's maybe stoned, but he's got his wife handling it. And the movie pitches that she's the one responsible ultimately.
It's like a very 90s, like unbalanced mental load type.
You deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. I really think that plays.
So we've been discussing like this poor kid, no one's looking out for him. Maybe they didn't have a duty to do so. Based on your experience, all of the things that he then wound up doing to these guys, like, I don't know how this comes up in court, whether it's like a neglect thing or termination of parental, like maybe you can even speak to that. Like, someone brings a legal proceeding to say this kid's being neglected. Like, what role does his behavior play? Like,
so when you talk about,
is he a bad kid?
Possibly. I mean, his mom and the rest of the family.
That was a lot of questions
the night before. Yeah, you did. You're all over the place. It's a compound question.
Objection.
Yeah, objection. Isn't that the name of your podcast?
We try to get that into every single.
Maybe let me start with the first. How
we just
would
let Brad ramble until the
I'm
guest
just rambling.
checks.
That's we should do that. We should depose the guest.
It's a good idea, actually. I like that.
How would this come up in court? Like, would the authorities say, "Hey, we have evidence that this kid's being mistreated, neglected, whatever. We're going to file some sort of petition."
Well, somebody would need to report it.
Right. Someone has to report it. And the mom is kind of reporting it. Or she wants a well check. So it happens, a wellness check. And but you're mixing the kids' actions are separate from the parents.
Forget the kids' actions for a minute. Like in your world, if you saw parental conduct like this, how does that come into court? Is it somebody reporting to the authorities that these are like unfit parents?
Right.
And therefore what?
It's like the neighbor.
The shovel guy.
Yeah,
is what
let's
they
say
have
it's
to
a
call.
shovel
So
guy.
the shovel guy calls us. These people are like,
This kid's been home for
he's
4
been home
days.
alone for a month. Like no one's feeding him. Do you, you got to wave your hand up there.
I know.
Do you, is that like, what kind of court proceeding is that? Is somebody asking for him to be like removed from the home or like a guardian to be appointed? Like, how does that work?
Well, it's called little different things in different states. But
I'm completely like butchering the nomenclature here and showing how.
so it's child protective proceedings, right? So someone would have to call what you could call an abuse hotline. What's it in New York? It's the state clearance center or something like that. That someone would have to call. The call has to go in, and that call has to clear like minimally some concern. And that's the call goes to in New York goes to Albany. There's so much detail of the system, but let's just say talking generally, it goes to Albany, and then Albany would call whatever city and say, hey, I need you, here's what's going on, go check this out, and then they deal with it and they go check it out. So some case.
And not the police, right? Child Protective
Right.
Services.
Well, it depends on the state. Some states.
Because we don't want the police checking anything in this
Right,
film.
right, yeah. It depends on the state. Police could go. Sometimes it's the Child Protective Agency and the police. In New York, it's the the child protective person that goes and determines what, okay, here's the concern. He's alone. Is he alone? If he's not alone, we're good. If he's alone, okay, we got to take the next step.
Okay.
So what about if they get there, let's say shovel guy calls like once they're all home and they're like, got to tell you a crazy story about what happened over the last week. Like they're home now, but like this kid has been alone for the last 4 days. Like, so they get back, they show up, everybody's happy. Would they inquire further? Would they?
Yeah. I mean, today, yes. Back then, who knows? But today, I think they would look at services minimally for the parents to say, you left the United States and went all the way to Paris, and only realized halfway over there that you don't have one of your kids. That's a problem. And maybe the parents need parenting. I don't think they would necessarily pull the kid or remove the kid from those parents, and that the hypothetical you're using right there. But I could see like ACS in New York City saying, we're going to require you to submit to some services voluntarily and to complete them and show us that you understand that this was an error in the care of your child.
What services do you even need to undertake to understand that like leaving your kid alone for a week is a problem, I guess.
But it's a way of the government ensuring that this family understands, this is wrong and you can't do it again. So, okay, there's a whole service component. We don't have every service we need. So they probably get some sort of parenting, maybe. I mean,
and if they wouldn't do it, then would ACS like commence some sort of court proceeding if they thought it was?
In this circumstance, I think it's difficult, but
that's how it could
they
go.
could.
Okay.
So let's say the worker gets there and the parents aren't there, and they do find the child home alone. They're going to take that child with them. They're not going to leave that
really?
child
Right on the spot.
Well, there's no one there.
Yeah.
And they're gonna.
Well, the burglars might be.
Yeah,
there, so they can
that's
just leave
true.
it.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern could
Right.
care for the child on an interim basis.
No. I think the child, I think that the city, the state, whatever is going to take Kevin and then determine what's going on. Why aren't the parents here? Where are the parents? Are there relatives or somewhere we can keep, give the child until the parents come back? Why aren't, all of these things? That would be a problem. But we don't see that happening here because the police do nothing.
That's a very different film. I feel like that is also a movie though, like where.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
No, that's more like, I don't know, Bruce Kramer or something.
So wait, let's go back. All right, so now we've got this kid at home. He's arguably defending himself. How would his conduct be looked at?
Potentially as a delinquency, right? Which is a nice way of saying for kids a crime. So he's definitely, he's hurting these guys, right? But
for pleasure.
More than is necessary. Like I assume there's some threshold where like I'm home alone. They tried to enter my house or hurt me, so I like hit him with a stick or something, and that's fine.
Well, he knows they're coming, so he could
Right.
just leave the house and like go.
Why would he do that? He's safe there in his eyes, right? He's got all the tools to protect himself.
That's true.
And he could. This is you're talking.
I always thought that I would put myself in his shoes. I would just leave and go to the police station and say, "Hey, there are burglars coming to my house."
Right.
Call your Uber to get to the police
But you're
station.
rational.
90.
That doesn't make a move.
He went to the supermarket by himself.
Yeah.
For laundry detergent.
Right. Isn't that funny that he buys laundry detergent?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But you know,
Was
he's
it Tide or something.
He's definitely assaulted them, battered them, right? In theory, he's got
Like way out of proportion to what.
Possibly he's got a defense, right? But these guys are also breaking the law in a sense, and we're probably not in a sense. They are breaking the law, and those guys are going to be gone after probably, and they're going to look at the kid that this is a kid, but it's potential there could be a delinquency charged against him, but he's also very young.
Is there a lesser where it's more like there's something wrong with this kid, so let's offer him services to like make sure that like he doesn't turn into a delinquent?
Yeah.
Is that
in New York
more
there
likely
is.
scenario?
Yeah,
I don't think they say there's something wrong with
Yeah, I
this
don't
kid,
think
though.
they
I'm
say
sure
that.
that's not the verbiage.
I wouldn't.
it's
I
called a child in need of services.
There you go.
Right.
Totally.
So it sounds like you don't think that ultimately, given all the circumstances here, Kevin would have much to worry about for himself.
I didn't say that.
I said it's maybe that could, and that's independent of are these parents and it's independent of the scrutiny of the parents. Right. It's like this is possibly a crime, and he just would get charged in family court. Wait, does the age? That's actually interesting. Does the age like I would actually think, if he's younger, there'd be less of a willingness on the part of like the authorities to come after him hard, but I would say, is he also like possibly is his behavior maybe even a little more troubling given that he's like an 8-year-old kid, like lighting guys on fire and like rigging up nail guns to like shoot him.
That is a great, that's a great point, which I didn't think about is what are all these things doing in this home that these parents have left? There's a gun, there's the nails. Well, nails could be in a home, but
is it a staple gun or they're not going to be like, oh, I assume we're going to send a 6-year. Your willingness to send a 6-year-old to juvenile detention is probably pretty low, right? But my question is, at the same time, a 6-year-old that's doing all that stuff, his behavior would seem like pretty troubling.
Well, it was
as a 6-year.
I mean, it's also impressive. I mean, the fact that
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
I wouldn't be able to do any.
No,
of
me either.
No, I can't hang a picture.
I can't do it now. I mean, the fact that he could set that up and he thought it all the way through to, wow, okay, that when they come in, and if I have this here,
he's going to trip over this thing.
He's going to trip here, light his head on fire. The tar is going to, I mean, he even thought the tar is
He's going to be a stunt coordinator when he goes.
Yeah, and where was the tar?
That's not where Macaulay's life went, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I think he's in pretty good shape now. Well, you need to know anything about it. The question is, as you might surmise from the title, this happens again, like a few years later, in roughly the same way.
I see where you're going with this.
So the question is, let's say they have their services, there's
some resolution to it.
They pass muster, and they no longer are under the scrutiny of the state based on what they've done, and then it happens again, the exact same fact pattern. 2 years later.
What was the fact pattern? Was he in the attic again? The power got knocked out because the father pulled the cord out to get his batteries or something and reset all the clocks.
Right.
So they wind up going to the airport again. Where was he? Where was Kevin?
I think he's with them this time, and then he gets maybe lost, and he goes on the wrong plane. This is what happens.
They get separated at the airport because Kevin wants batteries for his like Talkman thing.
Right. So
they get separated at the airport.
And there's like a similar hat on another kid. And
a dad that was in like a trench coat or like a duffel coat or whatever.
They're going to Florida, and he ends up going to New York. So that's what
they get separated at the airport, and then Kevin's like rummaging through the bag. He's like, Dad, wait up. And he sees a different guy.
Right.
Of course, the parents are running. Similar scene where they all just, all right, we're about to close the door. Get on the plane. Go find your seats. And he just like goes to a different plane and bumps into the woman, all the gate agent, all the tickets go flying. And he's like, my boarding pass is somewhere in there. And they're like,
just go on.
Oh, okay. Just go on the plane. And he flies to New York.
It's still
by
the
accident.
90s. So
yeah, it's definitely the 90s. That would happen.
Wait. assuming those facts are accurate, I'm not sure that you've retold
I think
them the
those are pretty
exact right
accurate.
way.
I'm very confident with two.
What's the like how would courts view this now that like roughly the same thing has happened again?
I'm gonna guess not well.
Yeah, I don't view it well, for sure, and I would think there would be a great argument that the court wouldn't view it well either.
Is there like a pattern of neglect?
Sure, yeah. I mean, this already happened before, and what came up to me as you were telling me about Home Alone 2 is what's going on with these parents that they can't remember that they have a kid. What's going? Are this kid's particular kid? I know they don't like him, but are they on drugs? What are they under some mental stress? Are they mentally ill? What is going on? And I would think it's possible you could start looking at those parents in that way, and you don't want that in your family, or you don't want the state looking at you in that way. But I mean, how can you do it again? Really, right?
At least they didn't leave him home again this time. They got him to.
Yeah, he made it to the airport. They just didn't keep an eye on him. But I feel like the airport scenes like definitely fueled my childhood anxiety about airports, that we were always going to like miss the flight.
Yeah.
Because there were like 2 childhood movies where they're like running for planes and bad stuff happens. So every time we went to the airport, I was like a nervous wreck.
Well, from Kevin's point of view, it's not bad. Once again, he has the time of his life in New York until the same burglars show up again in New York, and they're trying to rob a toy store.
I think he like bumps into them on the street.
Oh,
yeah,
brother.
and he protects the toy store. So the takeaway is nobody comes out of this movie in a positive light. I think there's too many logistical problems to set a movie in 2026 of this type at this point. Like the technology just intervenes. You'd have to be really creative. Like, how would you even do it? How could you?
Setting up the plot of them getting separated.
Home Alone 2 is more feasible because they didn't know where he was.
But to be honest, I think there are certain things that are almost even more, on the other hand, more plausible. Like a kid hopping in an Uber, like kid lands in New York, like probably has a cell phone, could call an Uber, go to a hotel.
Doesn't want his parents
like, how about
to find
this?
him.
Has a credit card. When was the last time someone asked you? Well, I worked at a store in college, and they were like, "Okay, you got to like." Technically, we're supposed to like check ID when someone swipes a credit card. That's the only time my entire life I've seen someone check ID. I could like use my like mother's credit card somewhere, and they're like, "Okay."
Well, plus on a phone, you could have a credit card tied into the phone, and maybe he would in your scenario.
Yeah, I think that like now him going out into New York City and like doing all this stuff isn't really hard to fathom.
Can I add one thing that we didn't really talk about, but what just has occurred to me is that this family is obviously rich, right? They have lots of money, the home.
It's a pretty nice house.
The idea is that they have some
upper middle class family.
Right. And it might be that they could be treated, oh God, I might get in trouble for saying this. Could be treated somewhat differently. Yeah. They're going to lawyer up. They're going to also have the ability to pay and to fight this government on any claims against them.
Right. There's an inherent advantage built into the system for people who can afford to have lawyers at their disposal to push back on allegations, which is, I would, look, I mean, I told you my previous career was in government, the DA's office, and in the few circumstances where I would see something like this come up, you wouldn't see like a big law private attorney walk into the courtroom representing the parents. It would be legal aid, something of that ilk, if even that.
Right.
18B legal aid, which they're all not to disparage, they're all very good attorneys, but they're like many government employees, overworked attorneys who just don't have the resources that bigger firms have.
It's right on. They're overworked.
And it's an excellent point. And let's end on this dour note.
Okay. Yes. Perfect. That's perfect.
We put a really serious gloss on this movie. We'll never look at it the same.
Given that it's the holiday season, if people want to kind of like help the Children's Law Center, is there anything that the public can do to kind of I would imagine it's a not-for-profit.
Yeah, we're not-for-profit for sure. We depend on funding. I mean, we represent kids because the Office of Court Administration has given us money to do that. We're not tied to them. Our representation is to the children that we are assigned to by the court. But that money is limited. We always could use money. We're always out there seeking grants. We're always seeking. We just did a fundraiser to raise money to fund other things that we want to do. And so we're also looking for volunteers. We're looking for pro bono attorneys. We're always out there. Our executive director, Liberty Aldrich, is always pushing for pro bono and support so we can grow and really help this community.
Yeah. So if people want to help in some way, where should they go?
Go to our website, and I think it's clcny.org. You think I would know that?
Well, definitely, if you're looking to do some good before the end of the year, I would encourage that you check that out. And Will, we appreciate you coming by. This was a really fun conversation.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Sorry for making you watch the movie.
No, I'm glad
It's going to be seared into your brain for life.
Exactly.
But thanks so much, and let's keep in touch. Thanks.
For more on all things real estate and the law, subscribe to this and our other podcasts. Follow Bergstein, Flynn, Knowlton, and Polino on social media. Subscribe to our newsletter and go to bfklawoffice.com. That's bfklawoffice.com to learn more.